Wait, let's go back a little bit because you say that you take 2 hours to boot up in the morning.
Yeah.
What does that actually look like versus waking up with Facebook as the first thing that you check, or
waking up with
your
Slack
ads
or Facebook or dealing with a fire that I need to put out? I think
because how do you find the 2 hours that you've taken to boot up, and people going to be like, that's unproductive.
Yeah, correct. I would look at myself and go, that's really unproductive. I also know the consequences and the reasons why I spend so much time on myself and my thoughts, and I call it having a mental shower, right? But I didn't do this earlier on. A couple of years back, I wouldn't do this. I didn't think it was important. I thought it was a waste of time. And so what happens is, the analogy was, I'd wake up, I'd get straight into the fires, I'd be in building a funnel, be on Slack, I'd be replying to clients, I'd be on Facebook ads. And what would happen was I would get to this point at the end of the week where I wouldn't be feeling right. I would be very volatile. And you and I would have a conversation and you would want to go out, because Kerry would always ask me, hey Lynn, like, what are we doing this weekend? That was the question that I hated the most, because I'm like, what do you mean, what are we doing? We're just doing the same thing that we've always been doing, which is the same thing, which is just waking up, working, hanging out with each other, being happy, going for a walk. But Kerry didn't want that. She wanted something else. And so that question always brought on a bout of anxiety. Like every time you asked it, I was just like, I would almost get defensive. What do you mean, what are we doing? We're doing what we did last week. What did we do last week? We're going out for brunch. Do you want brunch? Where do you want brunch? And Kerry always, do you remember when you would always ask me for a plan? Like, what's the plan this weekend? And I'm like, I have no goddamn plan. My plan is day by day. And because I didn't have a plan, and because I didn't actually boot up properly, I would do things, and there was this satisfaction of getting things done, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm winning. I'm doing so much. I'm plowing through so much work. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't actually get to the place that I actually wanted to be.
What was some of the work that you do? What kept you busy?
I could spend, like a couple of years ago, I could spend all day writing 12 ads and then feel like, and then do you remember like the days where I would just be on Facebook all day and then I'd be fixing one little headline?
Yes, that was what I remember. It was the one word that you would spend hours on
trying to optimize the headline to increase conversions.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I could do all that all day. And I told myself it was important, because it is important, but it's not really that important. Like, is it something I'd focus on now? Absolutely not. It's not that important. But it's important at the time because I've got nothing else to do. Little did I realize that, but I had so much on. So I would just spend a phenomenal amount of time perfecting like little words inside of the funnels, because everything to me was important, right? And I could spend all day writing ads, and I could spend all day looking at trying to gamify the system and do all these things that I thought was important to grow and to get clients online. Then I would go into a spiral, because you'd ask me what we're doing for the weekend. And when I realized that I hadn't actually moved forward that week because I had spent so much time dicking around doing other stuff, I would go into panic mode with you in life. And then so I would quickly try to band-aid it by going, okay, we're going to go out for dinner tonight. And then if I took you out to brunch, then that was it. And then I always felt like you kept wanting more. And I was like, I don't know what she wants. And it was because I wasn't there. I wasn't actually there for you emotionally to listen, because I was so caught up trying to figure out myself, because I had so much time to be lazy. And because I had so much time, and because there wasn't any boundaries, there wasn't there wasn't our sleep time, there wasn't rules in place. It was just, we could kind of run our own thing and do things the way I want to do things, right? So,
and now fast forward this morning shower, the mental shower that you call it.
The mental shower is really getting myself ready to asking myself, okay, what would, number one, what are my thoughts that are on my mind right now? And journaling and reflecting about that. Anything that's, I've become a lot more energetic, or energetically feeling through my emotions, through my energy. And I don't start the day if I feel a little bit off. I want to make sure I get all my thoughts down on paper. What am I feeling? What are the subconscious thoughts that come up inside of my mind that I'm having? Because that's generally the first thing in the morning. It could be thoughts about money, could be thoughts around scarcity, could be thoughts around my employees, could be thoughts that, I was upset with you last night because of something that you did. All these thoughts that I have, if I'm not feeling right, I don't go into the day. So I want to resolve all of my thoughts and at least get them down on paper, because I want to see them.
What have you found when you don't resolve it?
It's kind of like an unresolved fight with you. where we
Yeah.
kind of think like everything's okay,
Yeah.
but everything's not okay, and it doesn't allow me to feel the full experience of joy, happiness, and it doesn't allow me to feel like authentic, great, like in the zone. It doesn't allow me to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's the most important key. It doesn't allow me to enjoy the journey. When I don't feel, then I shut off my emotions from everything. I become this person that just wants to get it done and then arrive at a destination and not feel. And I've been so good at that, like prior to having O.
I think the team would also appreciate the fact that now that you've had O, you've gotten this mental shower, and that the getting done guy doesn't take it out on them.
Correct.
You know?
I don't immediately go into my triggers and,
Yeah.
and take it out on them. And I think that's something that I've definitely had to learn over time. It's to learn how to be a better leader. You know, I think you train to become a better leader. Nobody is born as a leader. You can build these characters over time. And
Yeah.
unless you put yourself in that position, you never get to improve. And so number one, it's the mental shower. And then number two, it's figuring out what am I going to do today and playing this simulation in my mind, because I've realized how important preparation, clarity is, and planning is. I play this simulation in my mind and I ask myself, okay, what needs to get done today? What needs to happen today in order for it to be the most amazing day, the best day? What needs to happen with work? What needs to happen with you guys? What needs to happen with myself? And then I create a plan. And then once I create the plan, I ask myself, okay, let's make an agreement with yourself. If you agree that to do the following, the 7 things on your list, will you give yourself permission to be happy? Like content. That's it. There's no going back. There's no adding more. This is a list. There's no going back and going, wait, but I can sit there and do more, because I was always in that mindset of I can always do more. Right. And if you're always in that mindset of doing more, and there's always more to do, but you never actually appreciate, okay, that's what you could have done today and that's what you're willing to do today, and you don't make that agreement, I found that I never gave myself that almost permission to be happy with my progress. To go, you know what? I did what I did. I know I could have done more, but I'm really happy with where I'm at today. And sure, because you can always do more, and that's the false illusion. And what happens is then you feel guilty, and you feel, shame that you're still behind. You're comparing yourself to where you should be and where you want to be. And you're like, oh, you feel all this guilt and shame about why aren't I along further?
I definitely also see the other side of it, which is
Of
when you're
course.
content, you're way more present with us. And I know that I don't have anything to be tippy-toeing around, and that your energy is free-flowing.
I got my shit handled.
Calm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And don't worry, I got my
Yeah,
shit handled.
exactly.
Like there's this moment, I think, as a man, where you either got your shit handled or you don't have your shit handled, right? Like that's the definitive. Like the moment you become a man is the moment where you become a person that can handle your shit. And if you don't know what that means, then there's a very high chance that you haven't become a man, because when you become a man, you kind of get it. You kind of go, okay, I've got shit to handle. I've got shit to handle for Ocean. I've got shit to handle. Can you handle your